Hey, it is Xennial Gamer, and today we're going to be talking about a free transcendence scroll. And that is not clickbait, partly because I just said it and you're not clicking. But no, honestly, I'm going to be teaming up with Acedit Gaming to give out a free transcendence scroll, the package that you see on your screen right now. We're going to be doing that in May. In this video, I'm also going to be talking a little bit about this pack and the event we have going on and give you my recommendations for it. But before I do any of that, the first thing I want to do is just give an honest, sincere thank you to all of those of you who have subscribed, who have liked, who have commented on the videos. You've given me awesome ideas, you've given me awesome support, and I really appreciate it. The way I actually started this channel is I was helping a guild member with, I think it was siege strategy or something, and I was answering all the questions over line, and the answers were just like too long. It was too much typing. And I said, you know what, let me just record a video and I'll show you what I mean. So I recorded the video, I did it on my tablet, there was no camera, no microphone, no editing, nothing. Tried to send the video file and it was too big to send it over line, so I wound up uploading it to YouTube. He watched it, he thought it was helpful, gave me some good feedback, so I made a few more of those videos over the next couple of days, and somehow people, and they were like no thumbnails, nothing, and somehow a few people found them and watched them, and from there I was enjoying it, and I thought it was a great opportunity to help people, which is something I really enjoy doing, and so the channel was born. And as some of you may have noticed, we recently hit 1,000 subscribers. It was towards the end of last week, we hit 1,000 subscribers, which is a really big milestone on YouTube. That's where you can reach partner status. So as a thank you to all of you, I'm, as I mentioned, teaming up with Ace to do this Transcendence Scroll giveaway. And I'll give the details on that at the end of this video. Okay, so now let's talk about the 6th anniversary pack that we've got on screen, because a few people have asked me in comments what the recommendations would be. Now, the first thing I want to say, obviously, I am not a free-to-play player. I don't consider myself one of the biggest whales by any means in the game, but I definitely have no objections to spending money. Support the developers, have fun. So let me share with you my philosophy when it comes to spending. So first of all, there's a free-to-play culture where some people believe that you should only do in the game what you can accomplish free-to-play. Completely support that. If you enjoy that, then absolutely that is the way to go. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't object to spending, I would say you should have a monthly budget. It should only be the money that you can afford. And again, just take it in context of what you would spend doing other activities. So for me, instead of going to a bar and a restaurant or a movie on something on a Friday night, I might spend on the game. And I don't look at it as purchasing something. I look at it, or I should say, I don't look at it as purchasing items. I look at it as purchasing entertainment. So just the same, again, using the restaurant as an example, if you would go to a nice restaurant and spend $50 on a steak, and then you eat that steak, and then you have nothing left but the memory of the steak, it's kind of the same concept here. It's a consumable. So my recommendation, first and foremost, never spend money you can't afford, never spend more than you can afford, and never spend more than you would spend on any other activity. With that said, if you decide that you would like to buy one of these packs, I'm going to run through what my recommendations would be for each pack. So on the $29.99 pack, I personally think that anytime a Devilmon is available, that's the only thing you should ever take, period. Devilmons are the single hardest item to acquire in the game, so that should just be an automatic right here. Mystic Scrolls are something that you can farm. The Forbidden Evolution Scroll is also something that you can farm. In both cases, you can farm them relatively quickly. So you could certainly go with the 5 million mana. If you're short on mana, then that's actually probably a better investment than one single LD scroll. But if you could still have some 3-star LD monsters that you could use, I would go with either of those two, the mana or the LD scroll. Now for the $70 pack, you start off by picking your attribute scrolls. I would say take like the 5 monsters that you want the most, and then pick whichever one has the most attributes. So like my 5 most wanted monsters would probably be Hathor, Fenyang, Molong. I want any dragon, really. All 3 dragons equally. Or Samanth. So if I look through that, Hathor, Fenyang, and Jamire, that's 3 wins. So just take the monsters that you want most, but don't focus just on one monster because it's hard to get just that one. From the actual packs, again, Devilmon, that's an automatic to me. Always get the Devilmon. If you don't farm a lot, if you don't have a lot of runes, then yeah, this is a great opportunity to get yourself some legend runes that you might re-app later. And so if you're early game, or if you're in the earlier stages of mid game, or if you just generally don't farm a lot, then the runes are a great option. But if you spend a lot of time in the dungeons already, then the re-apps are probably the better option for you. Now, as we go towards the $100 pack, again, a lot of this is going to be about stage of game. Everything I just said about the legend runes applies if you're in the earlier stages or earlier stages of mid-game. If you need runes, then by all means go for the runes. If you've got a good number of runes, but they're not grinded, or they're not gemmed, or they're not done as well as you'd like, then the immemorial gems and grinds are probably going to be of more value to you. Remember that we rune and play with a whole bunch of monsters, but at the end of the day, it's your top like 10 or 15 monsters that mean the most. You have your arena offense, your arena defense, you have a couple of core teams for Guild War, and then if you're doing RTA, of course, you're probably just using 10 or 15 monsters as well. So getting the biggest sets possible on those top 10 to 15 monsters is a big deal. And since most of those sets are going to be violent, if you don't have a ton of well-grinded violent runes, the immemorials can be really helpful here. So ultimately, the choice here is going to be about your stage of game. If you need runes, then go for the runes. If you've got runes but the stats aren't great, then go for the grinds and the re-apps, and basically just evaluate it based on your own account. Now, some of you have asked which rune you should craft in the Blacksmith event, so my very, very strong recommendation is that one of those runes should be a Swift slot 6, because slot 6 tends to be the hardest rune to get, and this is an incredible opportunity to start with an 18 speed or close to 18 speed rune, and then get 2 more chances to hit speed after that. Now, whether or not you do HP or attack is going to be kind of based on what you need. Generally speaking, I think we all need HP runes more, because your boosters, your Tianas, your Bastets, those are going to be the ones who benefit from the crazy speed. But if you already have like a 30 speed or a couple, if you already have great HP runes and you want to do an attack rune for a Daphnis or a Mina, then that makes perfect sense as well. So it's kind of based off of what you need. Now, as to the second rune, keep in mind that you can't make the same rune type or the same rune slot. That means that you cannot do another slot 6 and you cannot do another Swift. So a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, do not make a slot 1, 3, or 5. Those runes are just simply too easy to get when you're farming, or more specifically, it's not that they're easy, it's that the 4s and the 6s especially, and to a lesser extent the 2s, are just much harder to get while you're farming. You really want to make sure you're making the most difficult rune to get, to make sure you're taking full advantage of this event, which is maybe the best event we'll ever see. Now, some people might go with Will, and I wouldn't blame them if they did, but personally I feel like it's much more difficult to make a 4 set than a 2 set, so I would stick with one of the 4 sets. Obviously, you're not going to want to do Fatal, so that pretty much limits it down. Since you can't do Swift if you've already done the Swift 6, that limits it down to Rage, Despair, or Violent. Generally speaking, I probably wouldn't do Despair. As much as Despair runes have a great place in the game, I feel like this event is too powerful for it. And I wouldn't do Rage with one exception. That exception being, if you're just transitioning into a BJR5 team and you don't have your Belager strong enough yet, then this would be a good opportunity to just make an amazing slot 4 crit damage rune, because you could start with that attack percent, flat attack, and crit rate subs, and then pre-roll and make sure you get like 22 or 24 attack on that rune, which would just be perfect for BJR5. If you have a BJR5 team already, then I would just stick to Violent. That's the obvious choice. I would do slot 4 because it's the more difficult one to get over slot 2, and I would go with either HP or crit damage. Now, the reason I would not do slot 2 is because the most common rune we use in slot 2 is speed, and this event in particular, with the ability to pre-roll, gives us an opportunity, again, to get that crazy fast speed substat, and you obviously can't get a speed substat on a speed rune. And then the reason I wouldn't do like a slot 2 HP is because although those runes do have a place in the game, it's a more limited place than other runes. This is such a, again, a rare opportunity that you want to make a rune not just that you're using for one specific monster today, but a rune that's going to benefit you in the game moving all the way forward. So for that same reason, I wouldn't go with a defense percent rune, because although, again, there's a great place in the game for defense percent runes, at some point in the future, if you want to move the rune to a new monster, you're going to appreciate having either an HP or a crit damage rune as opposed to defense. So basically what what I'm saying is try to make a rune that's going to be the most valuable in the sake of the rune and the event, as opposed to trying to build a rune specifically for one monster. So make sure you've got the subs that you want. Make sure, especially for that slot 6, that you've got a big speed sub and that you pre-roll for a double hit on speed, and you're going to wind up with possibly the 2 best runes on your account. Okay, now for the details of the Transcendence Scroll giveaway. Here's how it's going to work. Today is April 15th. Between today and May 6th, each of Ace and myself will be taking 50 entries, so there will be 100 people total entered into it. 50 from his channel, 50 from my channel. Now, the way you get entered into the event is pretty simple. Watch our videos. Throughout the videos, we'll leave you little messages or hints that will be really simple, something like leave this word in the comments or solve this riddle in the comments. First person to do it wins an entry. On May 10th at 12 a.m. server time, so that's Friday night, May 9th, Saturday morning, May 10th, 12 a.m. server time, Ace and I are going to have an RTA competition that will live stream. You'll all be invited to come join. We picked that time because it's going to be hopefully not too late for at least parts of the US and hopefully not too early for parts of Europe. It was the best time zone compromise we could come up with. The winner of that RTA match will then do a drawing for one of the 50 entries from their channel. So if I were to beat Ace and you earned your entry on my channel, we would do a live drawing and one of those 50 people would win a Transcendence Scroll. If Ace beats me, then it would be one of the entries from his channel. So that's the deal. Today is going to be your first opportunity to earn an entry. If you're still with me this far, all you have to do in the comments is tell me which monster acts first on the Dragon B10 video that I posted on this channel, which most of you subscribed through that video. So in the speed tuning of that team, put in the comments which monster acts first. The first person to leave the name of that monster in the comments earns an entry. Second entry can be earned if you tell me which monster acts first in the GB10 video that I posted. Again, we're talking about the speed tuning, so which monster acts first on that team, and the third entry will be earned if you tell me which monster acts first on the Necro team. So there will be 3 people who win entries into the giveaway from this video. All you've got to do is leave it in the comments, first monster to act on each of the 3 dungeon teams. Okay guys, I hope you know that Ace and I are doing this giveaway because we really appreciate all of your views, your support, your interactions. So please go ahead, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. That's it for today's video. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, please pop that subscribe button over on the left. It shows me that you enjoyed the video, but more importantly, it shows me that you found the information useful and hopefully it helped you in your gameplay. So here's the deal. You pop subscribe and I'll keep popping out content. Thanks guys.